back to the House and they don't have it. So I think that, Mr. Speaker, if you can guide us on this.
Thank you very much. You rightly stated that the statement was made under Order 91. No report was presented to the House, but it was a statement that was made in the House, and thereafter a copy of the statement was tabled. Matters arising from the statement calls for an investigation, and I recall that the majority leader's submission is to the effect that there should be an ad hoc committee or special committee to investigate. The minority leader's view was that, no, we have a public accounts committee, which is a committee seized with the authority to investigate such matters. And looking at the rules, I agreed with the minority leader, hence a referral of the statement to the Public Accounts Committee. So it is not the reports of the Auditor General that is being referred. And honorable members, statement can be transmitted for an investigation or for a notification or some other action to be taken when the statement and then the debate occasions that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the clarification, because I am now clear in my mind that no report was referred to the public accounts, but rather a statement. But, Mr. Speaker, if you read Standing Order 229(3), and with your permission, I read, pursuant to Article 1872 and 5 of the Constitution, the Public Accounts Committee shall examine the report of the Auditor General on the public accounts of Ghana, showing their appropriation and utilization of the sum granted by Parliament to meet the public expenditure of the government and other accounts laid before it. Mr. Speaker, I do agree that statement can be referred to committees of Parliament, but Public Accounts Committee is a special committee of Parliament that their mandate is defined within the Constitution in Article 187 and within our standing orders in 229. So I don't know in which context that the Public Accounts Committee will be examining a statement at this. So if we can get further clarification on that, what public accounts can actually look at a statement.
Thank you very much. Any committee? Okay, let me hear from you.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I partly do agree with Honorable Habib, but Public Accounts Committee is a committee of Parliament. It's like Finance Committee. A member can make a statement. Looking at the content of it, that statement can be referred to the Finance Committee to investigate the matter. So we decided to set up an ad hoc committee. And minority leader said, no, we have an existing committee which is clothed with that power. So the matter should be referred to that existing committee to investigate the matter. So there was a closure to that statement. So I don't know why I want to revisit it. All of us agreed that the matter should be referred to the Public Accounts Committee, not to set up an ad hoc committee. So why are we revisiting the issue that all of us agreed that the committee should investigate those matters? So I think, Mr. Speaker, you were right to refer the matter to the Public Accounts Committee. If not, we'll set up another committee to investigate the matter, if that's your wish.
If there is a matter that can be considered by any committee of Parliament per our rules, you don't form an ad hoc or special committee to deal with that, but you rather refer the matter to that substantive committee. So every parliamentary committee has a power to conduct an investigation to any matter within their domain.
So, Mr. Speaker, I'm guided.
Very well. Very well.
Mr. Speaker, as my good friend Honorable Achampong was making his contribution, I just want him to know that, Mr. Speaker, something that has been happening over the week, which is not good. Mr. Speaker, and I must commend you. You are always punctual. You always come, you wait for us. We come to conclave before we come in. And sometimes, Mr. Speaker, it's not the matter that we want to raise quorum, Mr. Speaker, but the fact that if we don't get our colleagues who have a super majority of 189, and at the moment we are just 20 in the chamber, it doesn't speak good of you, and if you have the authority. So, Deputy Whip, try to get your members to always come. We have just passed the 24-hour economy, and yet your members, they don't come to the chamber. Today, look at the numbers that you have here. It is not good. So try your best to make sure that you have your numbers always in the chamber. Because if you don't have, we will be forced to call for a quorum, or to call for either a quorum to commence business or a decision-making quorum on things that we want to do, but that we don't want to do that. So I am giving you an advice. I have been a deputy majority whip before, and I understand. The Minister for Rules was a minority chief whip. So when you are in the majority, I know he has not been a majority whip before. He was a minority. I was in majority, and I've been in minority before. So when you are speaking, maybe you should come here, Road Minister, and speak. But what I'm saying is from experience, and I'm telling you that deputy majority whip, you have 189. We don't always want to make it. We want to work. We want to help you. You say you have passed a policy, 24-hour economy, even though it is not working. It's just an act. Nothing is going on. And yet your members cannot even come and help with these 24 hours. Look at us. Out of 29, less than 20. It's not good. It's not good. I mean, Mr. Speaker, when we continue to do this, it's a problem. Mr. Speaker, the other thing I want to do is that the deputy whip, if you can find a way to program the Minister for Foreign Affairs. The Minister for Foreign Affairs. There is a war in Iran and Israel, and Ghanaians are there. When there was war between Russia and Ukraine, a black ranking member on Foreign Affairs was in Ukraine. I don't know why he's still doing in Ghana, but yet he's in South Korea with the president. Doing what? Now that he's the minister. In a private jet to South Korea with the president. He should try and come and brief us in this house so that we are the people representative. We will know the position of government, whether the government is supporting Iran or they are supporting US. Then we'll be able to know and know the position of the government. That we need to know. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
No, he didn't speak to me.
Mr. Speaker, when I'm doing, let me come.
Yes, Honorable Lagbeja.
Mr. Speaker, I think our colleague raised a very important point. And even when I was sitting on the other side, it was an issue I was passionate about. I think the advice that all of us should endeavor to be coming to the House on time is a very important one. And I support him on that score that we should all work, especially the whips, to make sure that our colleagues are in the chamber. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, you are always here. I disagree with him. Let me take him back to memory lane. Before the 2024 election, you became a minority even before the election. I was a majority chief whip for 2 weeks before the 2024 election, and there's nothing you can do about it. What you should be worried about is the fact that Honorable Ken is very unhappy that apparently he's been giving you guys sewing machine and cornmeal. But when the time came for you to vote for him, I said, listen, only the majority and minority leader apparently voted, and his constituents voted for him. Ken lost in all of your constituencies when you've been taking sewing machines and cornmeal from him for almost 4 years. You should be worried about that one. So I agree with you that we must all come to Parliament. But at the same score, I was majority chief whip for 2 weeks before the election. And indeed, Honorable Kennedy is unhappy that many of you took his cornmeal and then sewing machine and never voted for him. Especially you, Habib. The minority leader did vote for him. Do you have a point? Did you take the cornmeal?
Yes, Honorable Stephen Amo.
Speaker, thank you very much. Speaker, I think this is an August House of Records. and that any statement made here has to be taken very serious with all the credible and tangible evidence that one day will not come and hunt us. My very good brother and friend has made a very serious statement that somebody can even design and draw in implication of corruption. Because I wonder where and when he was told by Honorable Ken that he gave machines to a certain number of MPs. Speaker, from my leader's advice, I want to drop the case. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Nitibu.
Mr. Speaker, I think the deputy whip on the minority side has raised a very important point. Mr. Speaker, the members of the majority side are 26. Mr. Speaker, there are 26. Mr. Speaker, how on earth can you explain? How on earth can you explain, Mr. Speaker, that you, at the exact time you were supposed to come, you came? That the people of Ghana gave them a super majority to come and work. And 26 of you are here. Your leader is not here. Mr. Speaker, I didn't count you. If I count you, 27. But I didn't come, Mr. Speaker, because I specifically said Mr. Speaker was very punctual. Mr. Speaker was very punctual. I'm talking of those who are sitting here and can vote and debate. But the Speaker cannot debate. So, Mr. Speaker, the majority needs to answer to the concern raised by the Chief Whip. Because there are serious matters, extremely very serious matters on the table here today. And we need your numbers to decide on serious matters for Ghana. We need your numbers. You cannot tell the people of Ghana that you have over 190 members of parliament and only 26 of you are here to come and work. Where are the others? Where are the others? When you were Chief Whip, were you not asking the same questions? So we will not allow you to divert any attention. You want to be a smart chief, former Chief Whip. We will not allow you to divert any attention. Answer to the fact that your people are not here. Where are they? Are they disappointed already? Mr. Speaker, you see the hit on them from the recruitment, where 500,000 people have applied for a job of 5,000. When you know that you can only recruit 5,000 people, you open 500,000 jobs. That hit that is coming on you is the reason you cannot come to Parliament, because you think your people will visit you in Parliament. Mr. Speaker, they must come and the people must look for them. They voted for you. You cannot run away for your constituents. Because of recruitment scam, you won't run away. They will hold you responsible. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Jerry Ahmed.
Speaker, first of all, I still need to commend you on your punctuality, save that our brothers on the other side is becoming notorious. Speaker, it's becoming extremely notorious. But Speaker, that is up to them. They promised the people 24-hour economy. And I saw the president, he was rolling a clock of 24-hour economy. And there's nothing going on. Speaker, and they felt that they were going to open the recruitment to 35 years. Critical matters. Speaker, critical matters, including those who passed English and mathematics. All of these were taken off just to do propaganda. And then you open, then you take 506,000 people, Speaker, 506,000. And then you took monies from them, 220 per head. And Speaker, that is not even the last part. Medicals. Speaker, those monies have to be returned, refunded to the, you have to refund those monies to these young men.
Expenditure, internet.
You use that. You cost one person to be running the program, TribeNet. And then once you are giving them to upload, then you put off light. Doom so. When they are trying to upload, they doom so. Anytime they try to upload, they write aptitude test. You give them 15 minutes to do the aptitude test. Within the period, doom so.
They spend more money.
Then they are using money to buy data. Then the data is not working. Then the data vanishes. Meanwhile, you are increasing the electricity tariffs by 28%. This same 28% could not get them to even buy electricity to hold on to do their exams. Speaker, I do not know about you. Speaker, I do not know about you, but the unemployment rate is becoming a national security risk, a problem. And we are worried. We did not tell them that we were going to open it up to 35 years. We did not tell them that they could succeed by just going on and doing all manner of aptitude tests which never came on. Speaker, it's becoming a problem. It is becoming a problem. And then when you finish, then you come and tell us that Ukraine is 7,000 kilometers away. Meanwhile, you are here, you are already complaining. For people to go and now sink boreholes in cocoa farms. How do you go and sink boreholes in cocoa farms and then start using water hose? Pay their money, pay the 6,000. You promise them 6,000 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, people are dying. Now you come and tell us that you have bought private jet. And President travels in private jet to South Korea. Is the jet for him or for his brother? That one, we even need that full disclosure. Is the jet for him? His brother only buys jet when the president is in power. We need full disclosure on all of these things. And Mr. President, these are key matters.
Yes, Suleimana.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very grateful. Mr. Speaker, I think that this house is a very serious house. This house is where records are kept for generations yet unborn. And so when we are making statements on this floor, it is important that we back those statements with evidence, especially when the people we are accusing are not here. We've just been told that it's a deliberate act and that we ask applicants to go and answer questions, and then when they are answering, we put off lights. This is a serious statement. And I ask that this should be expunged from the records, unless he's able to give us evidence. Mr. Speaker, when you raise the issue of poor attendance, we are all speaking to that fact. But it didn't start today. I remember very well that at a point, there was even a move to bring what we call a decision day. It was because attendance was very, very poor, and this was during your regime. It is an issue that we all have to come together and see how we resolve it, and stop playing politics with it. What does this got to do with Ablakwa in Korea? What does it got to do with Ablakwa in Korea? Indeed, when Ablakwa was in opposition, he traveled on matters like this to ensure that he's able to adduce evidence when he's speaking on this platform. I expect my brother, who is the minority rep for foreign affairs, to be here today to get evidence and come and tell this house that this is exactly what is happening there. It is only when we have this evidence that we are able to tell whether this government will support A or support B. If you don't bring that evidence, please don't tell us to choose where we belong. This is a sovereign nation, and a decision as to which side we will support should be a decision emanating from this house. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to my colleagues. They've done well over the few days that we are here, that anytime they come, they cooperate, they take part in decisions, and I think that that is patriotism. And I applaud you for that. So let's continue government business. We have enough numbers to do business. When you talk about 24-hour economy, it seems to me that some of you are refusing to understand that concept. Listen. 24-hour economy doesn't mean that this house will be full before we start business. 24-hour economy doesn't mean that we must all come here before major decisions are taken. And so, go back to the concept, read it, and then we can move together to ensure that this country, we are able to implement it and implement it very well. With this, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you.
Honourable members, let me place on record that the observation made by Deputy Minority Whip is very apt and timely. Honourable members, it is for a good reason that leadership should have conclave with the Speaker before the commencement of the House. We adjourn the House to 12 o'clock, so that usually must precede the 12 o'clock sitting. It's also a very good observation that though we are voted for to represent the very people that voted for us in Parliament, numbers in Parliament is not very encouraging. So I will urge the respective whips to work towards attendance of members in Parliament. It's not good that we've been voted to come to Parliament, yet will not be in Parliament to do the very business for which we've been voted to come and conduct. But honourable members, with the issues really careful in order not to trivialize that on the floor of Parliament. On this note, I intend not to open any argument, but to go to item number 6. You see, I have allowed this to happen outside even the rules. So sometimes you have to bear with me. I have accommodated everybody. I took more people from here than even here. Sometimes we do certain things which create a bad impression. So, honourable member, with all due respect, I am pleading with you on this occasion. I'm pleading with you. So let's move to item number 6. Questions. I will call on the Minister of State for Climate Change and Sanitation and Sustainability to take the designated seats, whilst I call on the Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Frank Anodompre, to pose question numbered 701.
Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability the progress made thus far towards the signing of a new carbon credit agreement between Ghana and the British Petroleum. I thank you, Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Ghana initiated discussions with the British Petroleum BP in 2023 and exchanged a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, to establish a robust framework that provides regulatory certainty for the generation of carbon offsetting and reduction scheme for international aviation level credits. This engagement has progressed to the development of a draft framework agreement which has been technically negotiated between Ghana and the British Petroleum. And in 2025, the draft underwent legal review by the Attorney General's Department and the Environmental Protection Authority, EPA, Carbon Market Office, CMO. Following this review, Ghana consolidated comments were formally transmitted to British Petroleum through the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology for the consideration and revision. Ghana is currently awaiting British Petroleum's response to advance the process towards conclusion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honourable member, any supplementary question?
Yes, Speaker. Speaker, within the confines of Order 89 and 88.7a, I proceed with my follow-up questions. And Minister, welcome. So if you may bear with me, let me read your first paragraph of your answers. Ghana initiated discussions with the British Petroleum in the year 2023 and exchanged a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, to establish a robust framework that provides regulatory certainty for the generation of carbon offsetting and reduction scheme for international aviation labeled as credit. So my follow-up is based on your own answers. Your own answers. That's why I read it to you. Now, what were the highlights? I'm not saying give me verbatim. Highlight of the MOU that was established, of which your good self has alluded to in your first paragraph of your answers. Highlight.
You are talking about the highlights contained in the MOU in 2023?
The minister just got up eagerly to answer my question. I am not saying he should produce verbatim. The minister knows what to do, and he's an experienced person when it comes to the subject matter. 2023, he has said that the MOU was established. He should apprise this House what the highlights of this MOU were. It cannot be offensive of Order 89. So I cannot.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip, I explained over and over that unless we change our rules, my understanding is that ministers are not supposed to be taken by surprise. Memorandum of Understanding is a legal document. Now, your question is to ask the minister the progress made thus far towards the signing of a new carbon credit agreement between Ghana and British Petroleum. And in asking a supplementary question, you are asking the minister what is the highlight of a memorandum executed between Ghana and British Petroleum. And you are saying that this question does not offend Order 89?
Speaker, with respect, I am not challenging you on the interpretation of the rules. Speaker, the minister had the opportunity to answer the question within the limitation and confines of the letter. He decided to speak to an MOU. My original question did not reference MOU. He spoke to MOU. Nobody forced him to speak to MOU. He mentioned MOU. Hence, it's reasonable that I can ask him questions on the MOU he spoke to. And I'm not asking him to produce verbatim the MOU signed in 2023. I am asking for how.
Well, all due respect.
Well, the interpretation of the rules is in your hands. We may have to revisit this matter some other day. But I think that my question is not. He is ready to frame my question. So if you permit me.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Submitted its consolidated comments formally to the BP. Can you run this House in terms of the key variables in this comments that were formally submitted by the Republic to the BP in the same context?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's comment were the legal opinion of the state, and I don't have that legal opinion to share with the House today. So if the honorable member wants to have a legal opinion, the comments that were filed on behalf of Ghana, then I will suggest that he should file a question which will direct to the Attorney General Department to take care of that. Thank you, Mr.
Speaker, Ghana, your last paragraph of your answers. Ghana, Speaker, with your leave, Ghana is currently awaiting British Petroleum response. We have been waiting on the BP for a year now. A year. What has the ministry been doing with this, within this period of waiting on the BP to formally respond to us as your ministry's support in facilitating the progress of this project?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we need to recognize that Ghana is unable to make progress until we get the final response from BP. Because we, Attorney General, reviewed the MOU and came out with the legal opinion. So for us to be able to make any effort, any move, then we will have to get the response from BP. That is what will make it binding for us to make progress. Thank you.
Minister, I can appreciate your challenge. So is it the case that until the BP responds, and if you look at the chronology of event that has happened from 2023, it's been a steady progress. I'm sure you concede to that. A steady progress right from 2023. Then suddenly it's silence. There must be something wrong. Is it the case that the Attorney General doesn't find this carbon credit worthy cause to pursue? Or it is the case that we have not done our homework well? Which is which? And what should be the way out of this supposed cul-de-sac?
So what is the question?
The question is, what is the minister, or for that matter, the ministry, doing to get us out of this long waiting period? That's the question.
But the minister in the answer indicated that the memorandum was reviewed and the legal opinion was forwarded to them. They are waiting for their response.
Speaker, if you permit me to make some comment, I don't want to be offensive for Order 88.7.
Yes.
But we must be progressive as a country. We cannot put our hands at our back and say that BP has not responded, and therefore we are just sitting down waiting. It's a consolidated agreement between Ghana and the BP. And progressively, the British Petroleum has shown dedication to pursue this path of carbon credit. So there must be a problem. That's why I'm asking the minister,
but when it comes to
considering, if he's considering an alternative ways of getting a response ASAP.
Very well.
It's a valid
Are you
observation.
considering an alternative ways?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We will look at that. I'm sure if I consult the honorable member who has experience in the climate space, he will assist us to navigate the waters. But let's remember that until BP gets back to us with the consent, the legal opinion given to them, we are unable to make progress as a country. But I will consult the honorable member. Thank you.
We on this side, out of patriotism and for the progress of our country, we are available. Except that it's difficult to get you. For the past 1 month, I've been trying to get you. It's been difficult. Table office will bear me out. But I can pledge for the records that any day, any time, not just me, there are experts here. John Darko is also a very strong person in environment. John is very strong. So we'll be more than willing to assist. And Honorable Osenyako is also, we are all available to assist you. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Yes, on the same issue. Mr. Speaker, I referenced the Honorable Minister to his response that the draft review from the Attorney General's Department was sent to BP in 2025. And then we are currently awaiting the response from BP to make progress. So my question to the Minister is that, in your communication to BP, were there any timelines that you indicated for which we can expect the response from BP, so that if we are in March 2026, we don't know exactly when in 2025 the communication went to BP?
Has been asked. Is there any timeline in your communication to BP?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There were no timelines. Thank you.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Speaker, the minister standing at the dispatch box in answering the minority chief whip indicated that the ministry or his sector has made a lot of progress. Can he specifically identify and share with us a specific policy success which is part of what he described as a lot of progress for our records?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will want to suggest that the honorable member and the leader of the minority side should file a question so that we'll know exactly what he's looking for, because we have a lot of information. Thank you.
Speaker, with respect, the minister's approach is most contemptuous of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, let me finish, please. Mr. Speaker, when a question is admitted, Mr. Speaker, when a question is admitted, the minister cannot mount the dispatch box and say that the question is not admissible, and therefore you should file another question. Mr. Speaker, the admissibility of my question.
You see,
Mr. Speaker,
one after the other.
Exactly.
So you
resume your seat. Mr. Speaker, the Minister of State, in response to the honorable member for Nsawam Adwe, said that his sector has made a lot of progress. Now, my supplementary question as a follow-up then was to the effect that the quotes, a lot of progress he says they have made as part of the success story in the sector. He should identify one.
Yes.
And share that success story with us. That was my supplementary question.
The answer of the minister is at page 39 of the order paper, where in the answer did the minister indicated that he has made a lot of progress.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, there was a supplementary question He's right here. In his answer to the supplementary question, he indicated that a lot of progress has been made and went further to call on the questioner that if they have some input, since they are experts in that field, they welcome. Mr. Speaker, is it the case that we will not put things in context? He said a lot of progress has been made and that he welcomes further ideas. And I'm saying, my question is very specific, that the progress that you have made, that you said you made a lot of progress, identify one and share with us. Then you mount the witness, the dispatch box, and tell the House that you will suggest that the minority leader should file a question to demand the specific thing that you yourself you are sharing with us. So when you were telling the people of Ghana that you have made a lot of progress, you did not have a single success story in mind. You didn't have one. Now you want to get there and then determine admissibility of the question. Mr. Speaker, you had admitted the question. His job was to answer. If he doesn't have the facts readily available, the rules allow him to plead with the chair for him to be given leave, granted leave, to come back again. But you cannot mount the dispatch box when a question has been admitted. Then you say that you want me to file another question. I'm not asking something new. You said you made a lot of progress. You said you made a lot of progress. Tell us which single progress you have made.
Honorable members, let me place on record that question to a minister is not cross-examination. You are asking the question for a minister to bring facts to bear. And the very question on the floor is to ask the minister the progress made thus far towards the signing of a new carbon credit agreement between Ghana and British Petroleum. And then the answer of the minister regarding what has happened is captured in page 39 of the report. So where I sit, I even have a difficulty of the supplementary question.
Speaker, with respect, we've always been talking about rules. Mr. Speaker, if you want to change your mind to say that the question that you've admitted, you want to change your mind, I will yield to you.
I am not changing my mind, with all due respect, minority leader. But the question asked has been answered, as in page 39. Which other progress are you asking of, apart from the progress that the minister has come to answer in page 39? That is what is bringing the ambiguity. But let me hear Honorable
Speaker. First of all, the minister never said what is being attributed to him by the minority. No, it never. It was the supplementary question from the minority chief whip that suggested that there has been a steady progress. That was the phrase. That was the phrase. He said a steady progress. You are saying a lot of progress. There are marked difference. He never said so. So it was a question that was put to him. He never said that there's been a lot of progress. It was the suggestion that was put to him. So if you are looking for specificity of that, the man is saying yes. But file a specific question, then I'll provide those details. Then you say you don't like the answer, and you are intimidating him. Why?
Mr. Speaker, with respect, the records must reflect that once a question is admitted, it is not for the minister concerned to raise an issue of admissibility. You know, I listen to you. I listen to you.
Quiet. Quiet.
I listen to you.
Quiet.
You are becoming one intolerant majority chief whip. Yes. Yes. Mr. Speaker, I asked the question. I asked the question, and Mr. Speaker admitted the question. Then say it for the records.
Yes, I'll say it for the record.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I take offense. I take offense to the reference to me that I am intolerant. I am not. And the minority leader will have to withdraw and apologize to me.
See,
it's a tournament of ideas.
Minority leader.
There's no intolerance about this.
You are both in leadership. I always plead with leaders that let's be careful the language we use against each other. And whatever we say is in the record for generation. I believed you won't be happy if your colleague on his feet said you are intolerable.
Mr. Speaker, he used the same language. We all heard him.
I have not heard him.
No, but I'm telling you, I'm sitting right in front of me. You said it.
So, honorable minority leader,
Mr. Speaker, don't get in this. Mr. Speaker, don't get in this. He's my mate. Don't get, Mr. Speaker, stay away from this. It's between the two of us. You ignore him. He's laughing. He knows what he wants to achieve. He wants to introduce confusion. You sit down. You are not in leadership. Mr. Speaker, look at him.
You want to leave?
The road cause trouble. Mr. Speaker, I know what he wants to achieve, but I will not pursue this. I want my chief whip to proceed with the second question. I will let him be until another time. Chief whip, continue. But this minister that we've got him today, we'll get him again. Mr. Speaker, we'll get him again. For your sake, Mr. Speaker, for your sake, I will let him be. For your sake, I will let him be. For chief whip to continue.
Honorable members, the word the majority chief whip is becoming intolerable is ordered to be expunged from the record. The chief whip had his turn and has exhausted his supplementary questions. So, no, he has exhausted his supplementary questions before even giving the floor to Honorable Buama at your back before he gets to your end. So, in the absence of any further question, we move to question number 702, also standing in the name of Honorable Frank Anodompre.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister of State in charge of climate change and sustainability what the ministry is doing so far to facilitate the implementation of the terms of the following carbon credits agreement signed and the involvement of the private sector in the validation of carbon credit transfer. Ghana, Switzerland, Ghana, Sweden, Ghana, Singapore, Ghana, South Korea, Ghana, Liechtenstein. I thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, according to Section 2.7.1.3 of Ghana's Framework on Carbon Markets, the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology and the Carbon Market Office, the status of development and implementation of the listed Carbon Markets Agreement is as follows. Ghana, Switzerland. The Ghana-Switzerland Agreement is under implementation with 18 projects. The project covers electric vehicles, composting, rice cultivation, clean cooking, solar PVC, efficient ACs, and biogas. The agreement also issued and transferred the first and largest Paris Agreement carbon credit, ITMO, on the Ghana Carbon Registry in 2025. Mr. Speaker, the table below highlights the progress of implementation with some key milestones. And Switzerland signed the Article 6 Cooperation of MOU. November 2020, Ghana and Switzerland signed Article 6 component of the agreement. In July 2021, Ghana and 2023, a technical implementation committee was established between the CMO and the Swiss Federation Office for Environment, that is BAFU. And in 2021, we developing 18 carbon market projects under the Switzerland-Ghana agreement. In 2021 to date, 2 carbon market projects are being developed under UNDP support. Both received authorization from Ghana and Switzerland, totaling 2.7 million tons of ITMO by 2030. Waste to compost projects also amounted to 1.5 million tons under implementation and monitoring. Alternative wet and dry projects totaling 1.2 million tons under implementation and monitoring. 16 carbon market projects are being developed under the Cliff Foundation. In February 2024, we established the CMO Click Working Group to track projects of development. In June 2025, the issuance of the first and largest ITMO in Africa and globally of 11,733 tons of Paris-aligned carbon credit was issued. In July 2025, the first ever transfer of the largest ITMO, 11,733, for a project on the transformative clean cooking stove initiative in rural Ghana. And in 2026, additional ITMOs are also being expected to be issued and transferred from cook stoves to compost and rice cultivation. Thank you. And just continue.
No, continue.
Okay, so now we go to Ghana, Sweden. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana-Sweden agreement is under implementation with 3 energy-related projects. 1 is under validation and 2 are still in development. The Ghana-Sweden has established a coordinating committee to receive and consider projects, application, and authorization requests. And the table below also highlights the progress of implementation with the key milestones. So we have the duration and the key milestone. In November 2021, Ghana and Sweden signed the Article 6 Cooperation MOU. In May 2024, Ghana and Sweden signed the Article 6 Cooperation MOU agreement. October 2024, we held a meeting. There was a meeting of Ghana-Sweden Coordinating Committee to oversee the implementation of the agreement. In July 2024, in August 2024, we commenced procurement of 2 carbon market projects for implementation in Ghana. In October 2024, the Swedish Energy Agency, SEA, visited Accra on a project sourcing mission and to participate in the coordinating committee meeting. In December 2024, the CMO held the first informal meeting with SEA to discuss the way forward for project implementation. In 2024, the Swedish Energy Agency, SEA, concluded the selection of 2 carbon markets in solar PV and electric cars for further development. In 2024 still, we will have the C&I solar photovoltaic and storage program also reached a validation stage. Mr. Speaker, in 2025, the project pipeline increased to 3, all of which are energy-related projects, and the current status include the Infrastructura Ghana Limited, which is under the validation stage, the TIF Power Company Limited, which is onboarding stage, Solar Taxi Company Limited, and South Pool, also at the procurement stage. Now, Ghana-Singapore. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana-Singapore agreement is under implementation with 39 projects at different stages of development. 4 of them have reached an authorization decision point. Also, a major joint committee has been established that receives and accesses projects for authorization. Mr. Speaker, the table below also highlights the progress of implementation with key milestones. November 2021, Ghana-Singapore held an initial contact meeting at COP26. February 2022, Ghana and Singapore exchanged letters of intent on Article 6 voluntary cooperation. In November 2022, Ghana-Singapore substantially. In May 2024, the Ghana-Singapore and September between Ghana and Singapore on the implementation of agreement to consider the project request. In January 2025 to date, this is the status to date includes 39 project ideas submitted to the ministry, including renewable energy, solar PV, biodiesel, clean cooking technology, e-vehicles, charging stations, afforestation, mangrove restoration, water treatment, and biocar. A joint committee has been established to review and issue 24 no objection approvals from both governments, of which 8 Stage A applications are yet to be reviewed at the technical working level. Projects include all relevant sectors: cook stove, waste to energy, water treatment, and so forth and so on. The projects are expected to provide access to clean water and improve the cooking experience in rural Ghana, while also attracting capital investment, generating carbon revenues for project owners, and government fees. Mr. Speaker, I go to Ghana, Korea. Ghana-Korea bilateral agreement is under legal review by the Attorney General before it goes to Cabinet for approval and parliamentary ratification. 5 projects are now being developed in anticipation of the Ghana-South Korea agreement. Mr. Speaker, let me be quick to mention that these answers came before the President went to South Korea, but I'll still give the table below. I'll still give details of the key milestones and duration. In December 2023, the technical negotiations concluded, and both countries have met the country participation requirement with minutes of negotiations adopted at COP28. In March 2024 to date, the Office of the Attorney General and the Ministry of Justice finalized the legal review of the draft agreement. In 2023 to date, the pipelines applications are 5 in total, of which 3 are cook stove projects, of which 1 is water treatment, and the other one is also waste to energy project. Ghana Licensia. The Ghana Licensia Agreement is still being negotiated between the two countries. The table below highlights the progress of implementation with key milestones. December 2023, discussion to have a corporate bilateral agreement. In 2024, agreements at COP30 to initiate tax negotiations. December 2024, discussions on general technical negotiations of tax. Mr. Speaker, I'll go to the last part of the question. With respect to the involvement of the private sector in the validation of carbon credit, pursuant to Section 9 of the Ghana Carbon Market Framework, the Carbon Market Office engages internationally accredited independent validation bodies to assess projects design documents and mitigation activity designed to be submitted for authorization. Mr. Speaker, the CMO has onboarded 24 validation bodies, of which approximately 14 have actively participated in validation assignments. As part of the onboarding process, validators must establish accreditation criteria, including compliance with the Ghana Carbon Registry onboarding process, and submission of terms of reference and the appointment of a local expert. The designated local expert must actively participate in the validation activities to ensure that stakeholders' engagement and adherence to local content requirement and capacity development. Mr. Speaker, the CMO office evaluates the performance of independent bodies through an annual performance and conformance assessment of those onboarded onto the GCR using defined key performance indicators. Based on the assessment results, the CMO may add new or remove underperforming validators from the database. This performance oversight strengthens credibility, accountability, and integrity within Ghana's carbon market system. In addition, the EPA CMO has established a roster of experts database, which will be published on its website. Recognized designated operational entities are required to appoint a qualified local expert from the roster to participate in validation assignments. With the technical support from the gold standard, Ghana has trained 24 experts in validation process, and these experts have been formally onboarded onto the roster of experts to strengthen the national capacity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minority Chief Whip. Any supplementary question?
Yes, indeed, Speaker. Speaker, from the outset, let me commend the Minister for a detailed response. But that is not enough. It's not enough. Now, Minister, because he's giving six tabular response, which encapsulate the high points of what has been achieved in terms of all the carbon agreements we've entered into, 6 of them. Now, if you take time and go through the tables, 2020, 2020, 2021, 2023, 2021, 2024, 2024, 2024, 2024, and so on and so forth. My question is, more than 90% of the achievement occurred between 2020 all the way to 2024. It appears to me that after 2024, little has happened. And I want to find out from you what is giving rise to this challenge and how do you deal with this challenge?
In 2024?
After 2024.
Very well.
Yeah.
Yes, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, up to 2024, 2025, and you see that if you look at, for instance, look at Ghana, Singapore. Ghana, Singapore, I said September 2024 to 2025, 3 joint committee meetings between Ghana and Singapore on the implementation agreement was considered. I also said in January 2025 to date, which is ongoing, which means that work is being done. So I'm sure if you run through the others, you will also see that each of them will have activity for 2025 to date. So work is being is ongoing on all these projects. Thank you.
I go into it, and I don't want to do that banter with you. So if you are claiming 2025, you have achieved something, that's fine. It's fine. So you got my second follow-up. Reference after the second table, that is 2021 up to date carbon market project, February 24, June 2025, that table where carbon market projects are being developed under UNDP support, carbon market projects are being developed under the Click Foundation, alternative wet and dry project, 1 million tons, and so on and so forth. My question is, this appears technical response. I mean, any layman who picks this may not be able to appreciate. How does this translate in terms of its benefits to this country?
Yes.
Very clear with his question, if he can come again.
So that with respect, this is my second follow-up, so I still have one more follow-up. So he's asking for a repeat or an elucidation of this question. So it has nothing to do with my third follow-up. So I'm saying, let me read to you. Carbon market projects are being developed under the UNDP support. Both receive authorization from Ghana and Switzerland, totaling 2.7 million tons of ITMOs by 2030. First one. Waste to compost project, 1.5 million tons under implementation, under monitoring. Alternative wet and dry project, 1.2 million tons. Carbon market projects are being developed under the Click Foundation. Established CMO Click working group to attract project development. First ever transfer of the largest ITMOs of some 11,733 for project on the transformative clean cook stove initiative in rural Ghana, and so on and so forth. I'm saying, how does this translate in practical terms into the benefit of our country?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Ghana has signed on to some international protocols. The Paris Agreement gave birth to the nationally determined contributions, and all these things are expected to feed into these agreements that we have signed. And the ultimate aim is to achieve the 1.5 degrees Celsius of that we all countries sign on to. So these projects are supposed to inure to the benefits of Ghanaians and specifically to ensure sustainability in the work that we do. We all agree that these activities, these projects that we do, the development that we're embarking on, are supposed to be done in a very safe way so that future generations do not suffer out of these things that we are doing. So there are protocols that we have signed on to. And these are some of the benefits that we intend to derive from. Thank you.
Any further question?
Yes, indeed, Speaker. Minister, come with me to your answer on Ghana-Singapore. And you are saying that the Ghana-Singapore agreement is under implementation with 39 projects at different stages of development. 4 of them have reached an authorization decision point. You've already mentioned 39, and then you said 4. 4 out of the 39 has reached authorization point. What it means effectively is that 35 of them are outstanding. My question is, what are you going to do to facilitate the implementation of the outstanding 35 out of the 39?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've already said that we have established a joint committee that is responsible for receiving these proposals and also assessing progress made on these projects. So, Mr. Speaker, we only have to collaborate well with the Joint Working Committee that has oversight responsibility over these projects. Thank you.
Where is Honorable Kinsley Nyako?
Mr. Speaker, I would like to follow up from the Minister. If you look at page 44, the penultimate paragraph, he has indicated that the EPA CMO has established a roster of experts, and that the publication will be on their website. I want to find out from you if it has been done, or when is the publication going to be on the website? Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Shall I repeat it, or you got me?
I didn't get his question. If you can
well.
come again.
Very well.
My question is that on page 44, the penultimate, the last but one paragraph, you've indicated that the EPA CMO has established a roster of experts database, which is going to be published. And I'm asking if it has been published already, or my question is the database published already, or when is it going to be published? Thank you.
Yes.
It's clear.
Honorable
The question is, okay,
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, for the last time, my question is simple. On page 44, if you could turn to page 44 of your answer, the last but one paragraph, you've indicated that the EPA CMO has established a roster of experts database, which will be published on its website. And I'm asking, has the publication been done, or do you have an idea when it's going to be done? Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I don't have the timing, but I'm told that they will publish it on their website. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yeah, I get that indication, but will you be kind to find out from us when it's going to be done?
That is what he said. He doesn't have the information.
So he'll find out and come back to us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm okay.
Yes.
Honourable Minister, it's been suggested to you that since about 2024, or after 2024, very little has been done. Now, activities such as the issuance of 11,733 tons of Paris-aligned carbon credits have been issued, just under Ghana, Switzerland alone. And that in the same 2025, there's been a first ever transfer of the largest 8 tons of 11,733 for project on transformative claim in cook stoves, compost, and rice cultivation, just under the Ghana and Switzerland alone in 2025 forward. Then again, under Ghana, Sweden, From 2025, the following projects have been undertaken. Then the projects include the pipeline, 3 pipelines which have been energy related and instituted as follows. Futura Ghana Limited as the validation stage. TFI Power Company Limited, that's on the boarding stage. And then Solar Taxi Company Limited at the South Pole, also at the procurement stage. That is, these projects have been undertaken in 2025 under the Ghana-Sweden agreement alone. And then finally, under Ghana-Singapore, as many as 8 activities differently undertaken under your guide in 2025. If you can confirm this for the House.
Minister, the question is for you to confirm.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I confirm that all this that I've stated happened between the period of 2025 to date, and it is ongoing. Thank you.
Honourable members, on your behalf, I thank the Minister sincerely for attending upon the House to respond to all the questions scheduled for him. Honourable Minister, accordingly, you are hereby discharged. Once again, thank you for coming. Honourable members, we have exhausted the questions listed for today. Therefore, question time is ended. Any indication? Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, may we move to item number 7 and take a couple of statements advertised there.
Yes.
Speaker, Speaker, save that on Tuesday or Monday, we had the opportunity of discussing taking the motion on the gold for reserves and to also continue the debate on the revocation of employment. Speaker, my understanding is that if we are able to finish the statements, then we can take the motions. And just because I actually did that with you. So don't come and sit here and act like you don't know. Together in the presence of Speaker.
I'm also a deputy speaker. I work sometimes on instructions. So what you should do in that regard, you know.
Pardon me,
as a deputy speaker, I sometimes work on instructions. So
yes, we actually did that in the presence.
You don't have to do the needful.
Speaker, what's the needful?
Probably you don't understand my language. You can see me for guidance.
Very well.
Honourable members, item number 7, statements. Should we go by this order? And
Speaker,
the rules applies if you are not
Speaker,
here to make your statement.
May I pray that we start with item number 7B. 7B.
Start with item number 7E. Honourable members, before doing so, let me also acknowledge students from Vandara Basic School, led by Kwame Amponsa, a teacher. They are from Subin constituency and they numbered 100. We have MA Basic School at Ahwiniasi, led by Mariam Sina, leader. They are from Abuakwa South. They numbered 68. Then we have Bako DA Basic School, led by Emmanuel Akako, a teacher. They are from Asikuma, Odoben, Brakwa. They numbered 69. And finally, we have Nursing and Midwifery Training College, led by Ahiati Justice Junior. staying president, and they are from Keta constituency, and they numbered 46. On your behalf, I welcome them to Parliament of Ghana, urge them to have a fruitful visit. Can they resume your seat? Our members' statement numbered 7E, standing in the name of Honorable Sebastian Fred Day, Member of Parliament for Bando. About E. It's 7B.
Okay.
Very well. Rather standing in the name of Dr. Thomas Winsum Anaba, Member of Parliament for Garu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make a statement. Yeah, distributed them.
Yes, Honorable Jerry Shaib.
To make a statement.
Honorable, hold it. Yes.
It's a whole lot.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, I was hoping that, yes, I'm trying to retrieve same, and I don't know if my colleagues have copies. If you just want, well, if you want us to deal with the one on the console, that's
Are you satisfied?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm okay, thank you.
Doc, please proceed to deliver your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to this. Mr. Speaker, I am grateful for the opportunity to address this House on a matter of urgent national importance, the shortage of health professionals, particularly doctors. Across Ghana, and many health centers and district hospitals remain critically understaffed. While infrastructure and equipment are vital to functional health systems, the absence of adequate skilled personnel continues to undermine access to quality health care. This workforce gap is not merely a structural concern, but a direct threat to equitable and effective healthcare delivery in every constituency of our dear nation. Mr. Speaker, nurses who form the backbone of our health system are still not enough to meet demand. Each year, we train thousands, yet many remain unemployed because of fiscal constraints, while others leave the country in search of better conditions. Meanwhile, in underserved areas, a few exhausted health staff struggle to keep facilities running. Mr. Speaker, the situation is even more serious when it comes to medical doctors. Ghana's physician population gap, that is physician to population ratio, currently stands at 2.6 doctors to 10,000 people. The World Health Organization recommends at least 10 doctors per 10,000 people, meaning that 1 doctor to 1,000 people. The global average is 17.2 to 10,000 people. This clearly shows how far we must go. Mr. Speaker, according to the Ghana Medical and Dental Council, we have almost 12,000 registered medical doctors. To meet the WHO benchmark for a population of 32 million and approximate, Ghana would need roughly 32,000 doctors. That leaves us with a deficit of 19,000 physicians in this country. Mr. Speaker, even if We continue to train about 900 doctors or 1,000 doctors each year, and assume we retain all of them. It will take Ghana closely 20 years to close this gap. About 35% of all the locally trained doctors migrate annually, seeking better remunerations, working conditions, and professional growth. We are therefore losing a significant portion of the very workforce we invest in training. Mr. Speaker, the imbalance between the urban and the rural areas worsens with this crisis. Some urban facilities have relatively adequate staffing, but many rural districts, including Garu, operate with only 1 or 2 doctors serving a population of over 40,000 people. This is not simply inconvenient. It places lives at risk for the people themselves and for the 2 doctors or 1 doctor who works there. Mr. Speaker, we must also consider the well-being of the current workforce. The 2024 performance report of the Medical and Dental Council indicates that 9% of doctors cited for performance misconduct cases were found to be dealing with severe depression. This suggests that beyond the numbers, there is strain on morale and mental health within the profession. Mr. Speaker, this challenge is serious, but it is not unique to Ghana. Other countries have faced similar shortages and taken bold steps to respond. There are useful lessons that we can adopt. Mr. Speaker, some countries have reformed their licensing and examination systems. In Canada, the Medical Council simplified the licensing process for international medical graduates by eliminating one of its qualification exams. Australia has exempted doctors in certain comparable systems from additional clinical exams. Israel has introduced exam waivers for experienced foreign trained doctors, provided they undergo structural clinical integration. These reforms have reduced unnecessary barriers whilst maintaining standards. Ghana can review its own licensure and credentialing recognition frameworks. We should make it easier for Ghanaian doctors abroad to retain and practice, and for qualified trained doctors to contribute without compromising patient safety. Singapore recently expanded its list of recognized foreign medical degree programs from 112 to 120 institutions to help address doctor shortage and meet growing health demands. Ghana could consider a similar policy to ease our physician gap whilst we continue to strengthen local training capacity. Mr. Speaker, secondly, countries such as Canada, Australia have developed practical ready assessment programs. These allow experienced doctors to undergo supervised clinical practice leading to full licensure. Instead of repeating long training pathways, they are assessed in real practical settings. Israel has similarly replaced lengthy internship requirements for some foreign trained doctors with structured integration schemes. Today, international medical graduates make up to a significant share of their physician workforce. Ghana can explore similar supervised fast-track pathways to get doctors come to Ghana. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, several countries align immigration policies with health workforce needs. They provide expedited visa processing, relocation support, and incentive for doctors who agree to work in underserved areas. We can design targets, recruitment strategies, and prioritize deprived districts. Mr. Speaker, Malaysia addressed its health workforce shortages by reforming medical education, shifting from outcome-based, competitive-based medical education. The country emphasizes clinical competence and introduces flexible postgraduate pathways whilst upholding national standards, thereby expanding training capacities without compromising quality. Mr. Speaker, based on these lessons, I propose a multi-pronged national strategy, adopting competence-based medical education in all medical training institutions, introduce flexible parallel postgraduate training pathways to expand specialist training, reform licensure and credentialing recognition to attract foreign-trained Ghanaian doctors and qualified international medical graduates, and 4, align immigration and health policies to recruit doctors for underserved areas. 5, invest in the faculty development and infrastructure and regulate capacity to retain qualified doctors. Mr. Speaker, at the same time, we must improve working conditions, ensure fair, timely compensation, provide rural incentive, and strengthen mental support for health professionals who work in Ghana. Expand the number without adding welfare will not solve the problem. Mr. Speaker, achieving universal health coverage by 2030 depends on the strength of our human resource. Let us all, therefore, approach this issue with the urgency it deserves. The people of Garu, Gomua, Gamashe, and every community in Ghana deserve accessible and quality health care so that we can achieve the 2030 universal health coverage as we all seek to. To this, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to read this statement.
Honourable members, that is the statement ably made. I'll give the floor to Honourable Abojinapo.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the very important and insightful statements made by the MP for Garu. Mr. Speaker, I think the maker of the statement ought to be commended for tabling such an important matter on the floor of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, the maker of the statement underscores the importance of healthcare. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, the common statement is that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. And across the world, as the maker of the statement pointed out, and he referred to Malaysia and other parts of the world where they have been very successful at constructing a robust public health system which supports their population and which makes their population productive and effective. Mr. Speaker, some of the recommendations the maker of the statement made are most welcomed and are to be worked on. Mr. Speaker, there are one or two other contributions I believe will further enrich the recommendations the maker of the statement is put forward. And he talks about physicians and went into great detail in dissecting the sector into the segments of medical doctors, nurses, the shortfall we have, the numbers we need, the measures we ought to put in place to attract them, to retain them, and to avoid a situation where our healthcare professionals are posted to the right places of our country for them to be able to meet the healthcare needs of our compatriots. Mr. Speaker, take for example the nursing field. Today, as we speak, Mr. Speaker, the statistics tells us that by October 2025, there were 13,500 nurses who have not been posted. 13,500 nurses, health care workers, who are, as I say, are willing to work and who have been trained, and as we speak today, are literally languishing in their homes and do not have postings. I think we need to
pay attention to that and prioritize the recruitment of nurses across our country in order to augment the effectiveness of the healthcare system of our country. Just because, again, the Upper West Regional Director of the Ghana Health Service had cause to indicate that as of December 2025, 80% of doctors who were posted to Upper West region of our country did not report to duty. Mr. Speaker, that is a major cause for concern. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, this is not peculiar to Upper West region. In my own home region or Savannah region, we have similar situations where doctors are posted and they do not report to duty. We need to interrogate the reasons for this, and indeed, it certainly will be a question of conditions of service and the nature of the environment they are posted to. All of these will have to be looked at. Mr. Speaker, again, today as we speak, nurses in the public service of our health system for our country, these are matters we have to prioritize, where when nurses are recruited, they are paid. Not only do we have 13,500 nurses who have been trained, equipped, ready, and willing to work, not being recruited, but even those who have been recruited, 14,000 of them, a good number of them are working as we speak, and yet for 14 months they've been working and they've not been paid. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. Let me conclude by saying that, look, there is really, Mr. Speaker, a part of the national public health system of our country, which I believe the authorities ought to pay attention to. So and by that I refer to Agenda 111. And Agenda 111 is arguably the most revolutionary, the most audacious, the most expansive, and the most transformative intervention in the public health system of our country since independence. Mr. Speaker, what is Agenda 111? Mr. Speaker, I didn't know we were being timed, so...
Well, but the rules has been in existence for long that comment on a statement should not exceed 5 minutes. So, no, with all due respect, I beg you. We've since been going in accordance with the time. I'll give the floor to Honorable Dr. Nawani.
Seconds to conclude.
Honorable Dr. Nawani, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Before I give my submission, I want to correct one fact. The previous speaker said that 13,500 nurses are unemployed. I think that is factually wrong. 13,500 nurses were employed before the NDC came to power, and they were not paid. As we speak now, they have been kept on pay. They are being paid now as we speak. So that is not correct. Yes, the 13,500. There are those who have been paid. Right Honourable Speaker, the issue of inadequate doctors or lack of enough doctors is something that, as a nation, we need to take radical steps to see to what extent we can correct it. As we speak now, on the Medical and Dental Council register, we have about 13,000 doctors. But from the statement, you realize that we need about 32,000 doctors. That is about almost getting to 300% of that number. And apart from that, even comes the what we call the distribution. Distribution is skewed towards the big towns, Accra and Kumasi, just taking about 70% of those few doctors. The remaining doctors are now supposed to go to the smaller towns. And so we have a situation where the doctor to patient ratio in Accra here is about 1 to 1,200, But when you take Oti region, for example, the ratio stands at 1 to 22,000. That is not good for a nation such as Ghana. Now, what can we do about it? And even as we speak, we have doctors who have not been employed. But what can we do about it? Currently, we need to increase the production of doctors. There are so many medical faculties. There are so many